Alone, but I still stay strong, I'm at it. Memories never die, went and got that tatted. These days I'm mad, I might cop me a Matic. My mum hate that I'm livid. Sometimes I wonder if life really worth living. Never preach what I say because I really do live it. Never speak about my pain because I know they won't get it. My mind and heart, they won't stop going at it. It's PCarter. Guys are locked in. CEO of You podcast. Let's get it.
Thank you guys for watching the CEO of You podcast. But before this episode begins,
make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
Share it with your friends as well, because it helps more than you know. Trauma's made my adulthood. Everything I am today is through what I've experienced. It got so bad that one of my teachers actually referred me for like private therapy. They're like, you know what, you need counselling.
When I seen that you were co-signed by Tory Lanez, I was in disbelief. I was just like...
Manifestation, first of all, kind of led me to this path, and I'll explain why. So centered down on music that he got that tattoo cross anything else. So for him, it was music or die, do or die. But in London, it's, if you don't make it out, you're just trapped in that same bad environment with no way out. That's why I see it as do or die. You know? You come out or you don't. You build certain relationships with people by showing love, you know, and that's something I think the UK lacks in general. I feel like everyone's just on their own. I'm better than him. He's just a nobody. So I thought, let me just put it into this song, express myself. Maybe people understand me more, maybe I'll get the help, or maybe I'll go clear. And it was that song, it's called Heartbreak Poetry. It went crazy, bro. 20k streams, bigger than music, bro. I just want to really be an example to everyone. Just a normal kid from South London doing shows in America. Like, that's my dream. That's where I want to be.
thank you, PCarter, for coming on the podcast. You reached out for us from the start, and we've spoken many times. An interesting story, rapper from South London, and you've already, something interesting came up today already when you spoke about saying how you almost got stopped on your way to this session right now. Please tell me how you almost got stopped in South London.
I mean, it was the last thing I expected when I woke up. So I was trying to get to the train station and I saw that it was taped off. But I was standing by the tape. Bear in mind, 7:30, no one's outside. And I'm just looking at the station, trying to think how I can walk in because everywhere's taped off. And I turn around, 3 or 4 police officers just giving it to me, you know? And I was like, come on, I ain't got time for this. I promised you that I'd get down today, remember? You told me don't let me down. I thought I cannot let you guys down. But I managed to get away. Not in a weird way, but you know.
I was about to say,
I spoke my way out. I didn't run. We ain't gonna get raided in the episode or anything. It's all good.
Did they search you or anything? What?
No. So they were trying to, like, you know, say, what you doing here, this, that. And I said, please, officer, I ain't got the time. Like, I need to get to Birmingham. Let me go. And it was all good. But let me just say one thing, though. I appreciate you lot for having me on.
No worries, bro.
Because I was reaching out to a lot of people. I wanted to be on a podcast in general, aside from anything we speak about today. And I had a lot of people like share me different platforms, and I reached out to a few of them, but I appreciate you guys.
Okay. Well, first things first, PCarter. We've had a lot of people from London speak about the experiences, what it's like living in South London. Our most recent guest, APM, spoke what it's like living in South London, saying that it's not the best of environments. So I've heard things about South London. Yourself, Ajane?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of things.
Yeah. However, I always find it interesting to ask somebody who actually lives in South London what it's actually like. So if you could just give me an insight on your experiences, what it's like living in South London, please tell me about that.
Okay, so growing up, I grew up in an area called New Cross. To be honest, there's a lot of negatives, of course, but for me, I feel like I appreciate where I grew up. So you might have not expected me to say this, but I feel like it really made me tough. Everything I experienced growing up, all the bad stuff, all the crime, everything just made me feel more tough, you know? So when I did move out, I was happy to be alone. I was comfortable walking out at night. Small things like that really build you. But in terms of South London in itself, obviously, you know, there's gang crime. There's not much to do for youth. Like, you know, it's like growing up, people either just do the road stuff or they go to school. There's no in between. There's no activities they can do. There's limited youth clubs. And it's just a tough neighborhood, man.
So have you personally experienced any bad experiences in South London?
I have friends. Well, I had friends who went down that path. So seeing the experiences they went through sort of made me realize, like, we are not in a good neighborhood. Like you would think London, the capital, it should be sweet and good, but it's not like that on every corner. And certainly myself as well, I've been in a lot of stuff, especially in secondary school when you grow up. It's not really
What's
nice.
it like?
It's like, you know when you're young and you prefer to go around the trouble route. You think it's good, it brings money, girls and this and that. So like, a lot of people will do crazy things for that. And it's a reason why, like a lot of crime that happens, it's always young people, 16, 15-year-olds. So when I was at that age as well, it was tough. Like, you know, you'd finish school and just go straight home rather than hang out and do anything because you didn't want to be in the wrong place, wrong time. Yeah.
So would you say you're a product of your environment in terms of in secondary school you was messing around? And going down the wrong
Definitely.
path?
Even people who watch this, they might be shocked on how I'm so calm and quiet because everyone's like that, you know. You grow up and you're buzz-headed, but it's when you mature and you realize, what am I doing? Like, time to get serious about life.
Okay, so in one of your songs, South London Story, you said in one of your lyrics how South London is a do or die place. Is that what you truly believe about South London?
Most definitely. For me, it's like you either make it out or you don't. It's as simple as, like, if you grow up in a rich neighborhood and you don't make it out, you can still live a comfy life. You stay at home with your parents, it's a nice home. But in London, if you don't make it, in South London, if you don't make it out, you're just trapped in that same bad environment with no way out. That's why I see it as do or die. You know, you come out or you don't. There's no way around it.
So are you close to making it out? Do you know anyone that's made it out?
Not really in terms of made it out to how I see it, because you might think someone turning their life around is good, and I agree, but in terms of really going global, not yet. I'm hoping to be the first. Definitely.
In terms of global, can you explain that a bit more?
Yeah, so like musically, either making it mainstream, being amongst the big names, you know. in
Is
the
that what you
music
aim to do?
scene. Definitely, yeah.
So you're trying to take it international?
Yeah, for sure. You have to be like that with everything you do, not just music. You play football, you want to play in the big leagues, you know? You make a business, you want it to expand. Like, that's how you have to view it.
Okay, so before we actually get on to do what you're doing, so I know you rap, I just didn't know you rap, but
Yeah.
I've heard in your lyrics how you first started rapping. Please tell us how you first started, that day when you first got into it.
So usually with rappers, especially like the big ones, when you look into their story, you see that they started rapping from young, 8, 9 years old. With me, that wasn't the case. I started a few years ago. And in terms of who inspired me, 2 people. Number one, it was my big cousin. That's Eslo. He makes music as well. And then growing up, I was just seeing, like, I got inspired, seeing him go to the studio. It just hits different when it's your friend or your cousin making music. And I was like, you know what? I want to do this too. Why not? And I tried. And if I play you lot the first songs I was making, you'd probably kick me out the studio. Like, that's how bad it was. And then secondly, someone who, like, not only I felt in touch with his story, but I'm also a big fan of his music, was Tory Lanez, which we will speak about as well.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm sure a lot of people want to know how that came around. But yeah.
So you said you want to make it international, global.
Yeah.
Are you willing to adapt your style? Because I know a lot of musicians, I heard them say, like, you should make music that you're proud of. In 10 years, you'd be like, yeah, I created that masterpiece. But some musicians kind of just change just so they can fit into the industry. What's your view on that?
I think sometimes you do need to change to fit into the industry, first of all. And that's why we see a lot of rappers make pop music and club beats sometimes, because you have to cater to your audience. You have to basically, the people that put money in your pockets, you have to feed them. So if that's the music that's going out, you need to make that type of music. In terms of myself, behind the scenes, I have been trying a lot of stuff. I've been trying R&B. I have been trying pop as well. It's just with experience, you know. Firstly, I would like to come up as a rapper because I make rap music. That's when I step into the studio, that's what I'm best at. But I feel like as I expand to get into the mainstream bracket, I will certainly try different styles and genres.
Yeah, so just based off that, so I think you've already expressed your aims. You want to be global. You want to be doing music all over the world. But How is it right now? Because you're on your come up. What's the rap scene like for people coming up? Because I know we could imagine there's so many rappers you see on TikTok, Instagram trying to make the come up. How is it that you will come through this and actually get to that global level?
First of all, let me expand on what it's like as a rapper.
Yes, please.
My age as well, coming up. It's so hard. Like, you'll not believe how hard it is. If you don't cut corners, that's hard. Because let me explain. How you can cut corners is simple. Like, you make a song, you don't master it, you don't lease the beat, you don't put a music video out, you just drop songs. But in order to go global, I'm really all in. And that's why, for me, it's quality over quantity. Like, I have over 60 songs. So I could drop 4 or 5 albums if I wanted to. But for me, when I drop, I want the beat paid for. I want it mastered to the best quality. I'll go back and redo the song if I pronounce the word wrong. And then in terms of promotion, I want it on a big platform. And that's how you basically go from dropping music and the people around you listen to dropping it and you basically the whole country listens. Like, it's whether you want to be the best in your area or the best in your country. For me, I want to be the best in the UK.
Hard.
Yeah.
Hard.
Can you just say how old you are? Sorry.
So I'm 19, but I'm turning 20 in April the 16th.
I was about to say, how did you forget your
My
maths?
maths ain't too good. I can't lie.
You going to say like 2 months or something?
No, my maths is bad.
So, I don't know. When I seen that you were co-signed by Tory Lanez,
Yeah.
I was in disbelief. I was just like, never heard of you. I did listen to some of your music. I went on Spotify and I was listening. And I was like, oh, this song's actually all right. Like, yeah. But Tory Lanez just didn't add up because he's in America, you're in the UK, you're 19. And it's just, yeah. Can you explain how that came about?
I think, honestly, manifestation, first of all, kind of led me to this path. And I'll explain why. So I told you guys at the start, he was one of my inspirations musically. Not only do I love his sound, but also I like his life story as well. And then I always said to myself, like, I'd listen to his songs and I'd think, man, one day I want to get on a song with him, or one day he'll notice me, like I'll get on his stage. Not in a weird way, but it's like you want your idols to become your rivals. That's how I see it. So then how this whole thing came around was crazy. There's 2 reasons why. First of all, mutually, like, I had someone on Twitter, like he was a friend, like an online friend. And he told me, oh, I know Tory Lanez. And I thought, okay, like, what? Everyone says my dad knows him or my uncle does. Yeah, I grew up with Cristiano and stupid shit. But then he added me to a group chat with Tory and I thought, shit. Like, he wasn't lying. Like, he actually knows Tory.
Is this like on WhatsApp?
On Twitter.
On Twitter, okay.
But I'm someone, like, when I'm in an environment like that, I just shy away. Like, I never just suddenly go, oh, Tory, I'm such a big fan, da-da-da-da-da. Like, I was just quiet, and then that opportunity passed away. Tory left the group chat, and I was like, okay. I was in a group with him. So then he left the group chat, and I thought to myself, I was just in a group with Tory Lanez, and I didn't do anything. Sometimes it's pride in these situations. Sometimes as human beings, you think, you know what? He's just an ordinary human being. Like, why would I show him any love? Why would I act like he's someone big? But then I feel like in life, that's how a lot of opportunities pass. That's how you lose out on networks. And you build certain relationships with people by showing love, and that's something I think the UK lacks in general. I feel like everyone's just on their own. I'm better than him. He's just a nobody. But when I go to other countries and I feel like, but anyways, that's for another part.
Please speak on that.
I'll speak on that.
Briefly.
So it's like, I'm someone who loves to travel, right? And then I went to Amsterdam recently and I met a few friends there. And it's like, it's a bigger picture for me because I see how they are with each other, with music artists when they listen, with shows, concerts. And I think if the UK scene just had that sort of love for each other, that respect, we could make it global. We could be bigger than America. Like, we have the talent. A lot of the UK artists, their fans are in other countries, And that's the main reason why. Because I feel like overseas, it's just more love and respect with people that make music or people that are chasing dreams. But over here, everyone's just so tunnel vision. And I don't think that's...
Do you think they're against each other, as in like nobody wants to build with each other and then branch off to build themselves? Do you think it's just, I don't like the fact you're doing better than me, I'm gonna do better than you?
It could be. I feel like it's mainly a pride thing. So
Everybody
you might
wants to
see,
be-
yeah,
Everybody wants to be number one.
Exactly. Everyone just
Okay.
wants to be number one. Someone might come across my music and think, you know, whatever. But in America, in Canada, in Europe, anywhere you go, anywhere else, well, at least this is what I've picked up from my life experiences. You come across someone making music, they just swipe up and show love. Like, it's small interactions like that that go a long way, you know? And it's like when I went over there and they asked me what I do, I say, you know, I make music. First thing they want to do is hear it. They want to share it. They want to stream it. And over here, it's not like that, you know? Maybe it's because everyone's making music. But you think outside of a music sense, like someone's playing football. Oh, he's just another boy trying to make it in football. Or that's another girl doing her hair business. Like, they don't take it serious. And I feel like in general, not just in the UK, but in a more personal sense, and like where you lot grew up, where I grew up, if as a community, as a circle, in schools, if everyone just had more love for each other, we would all go global. Not just me.
Maybe a more positive
Yeah,
environment.
more positive
because
environment.
It's better instead of just one person growing up, the whole group goes up.
Do you know when they say the UK is bad vibes?
Yeah, they
Like,
always,
there's
I
a
always
stigma.
hear that.
And I honestly believe that, bro. I honestly think the UK is bad vibes.
You know what's funny about the UK?
Yeah.
It's like they won't support you until everyone else does. But then how do you get to the point that everyone else supports you?
But I feel
So like with
yeah.
the podcast now, if we suddenly had 10K subs, you'd see random people that we knew just shout out our thing like, yo, these are doing their thing. But
like-
when we had 300 subs, they wasn't shouting it out consistently.
It's
There was-
even me right now. This episode, I guarantee there'll be people who just scroll past and not pay no attention. But if I had a blue tick and 100K followers,
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah, 100%.
you see the difference.
Even if they didn't know you, that blue tick and the 100K followers would be like, oh my gosh, this guy is like somebody.
But I think it goes down to like verification though, because it's like, cool. No, I'll be honest, and I think this goes for probably everybody who's on a come up. Nobody gives a fuck about your come up. It's just straight, simple as that. People only care when you're actually winning, because when you're on your come up, you have no validity, as in you may not have the awards, you don't have the followers, and all of this is social evidence and social proof. So when you've actually got the social evidence and proof, people will be like, you know what, yeah, I fuck with this guy. And just because like, it's like for a fact of this, would you rather listen information from somebody who has 100K followers or someone who has 10 followers?
I mean,
thing is, like,
because it's so easy to fake followers nowadays.
Okay, but it's like you experienced it yourself on your social media page.
Yeah, I have
about because you have literally proof about what you do on your social media page, but because you don't have the followers and you're just somebody on the come up, nobody's gonna care.
True.
Do you know, I feel like, I know everyone says this, like, oh, no one's rocking with me now. When I go big, they're going to rock with me.
It's facts.
And I know like it might sound corny to a certain extent, but it's true.
It's true.
It is true.
I've experienced it, guys. When I was first making music, I agree. I was bad. I was weird about it. And I felt a type of way when people wasn't rocking with it. But then come this Tory Lanez thing. They see he's on my page. He's liking my stuff. Follow back. They're interested. Like, it's true, bro. It's true. In life, like, you can't deny the fact that when you go big is when everyone wants to know how it came about. And I knew him. I knew Carter. I was his friend.
Continue the story.
That's why you gotta go big. So then, yeah, with the
Sheets.
Tory Lanez thing,
I rather just call them sheets, bro. Yo, literally, the minute they say you're winning,
pretty
they come like sheets, bro.
it's true, man. And then the Tory Lanez thing, let me expand more. So then he obviously left the Twitter group chat. And that was just the first small sort of interaction that came about. And then it was a few months later where I was just listening to his music and I was like, you know what, forget this. I'm going to DM this guy. And then I remember my older cousin was in the room. He was like, what are you doing? Like, why are you being a beg? Like, why are you DMing him? He ain't going to see your comment. Like, you're just going to look like another fanboy. Bro, 5 minutes later, he responded. I was just looking at my phone. I was like, what? Is this like a fake account or something? I'm pressing through. And then I remember for like a whole day, I didn't even respond to him because I just didn't know what to say.
Man, I hearing Tory.
I just didn't know what to say. I was like, what? And then from there on, small, I just started showing more love. Like what I was saying about the UK scene. Like I wasn't thinking, you know, what, my pride's high. I'm better than Tory. Who is he? It was more of a thing where, raw, like he's showing me love. I'll show him love. And I started sending my music to him. And he was giving me feedback. And obviously, I don't know if I can really expand on this, but I was actually talking to him about him signing me like a proper, like, not just a co-sign, like an actual. And then it didn't get about, like it didn't happen, but from that situation, the inspiration it gave me is almost as if I got signed because I started working on my mixtape. I started being more active socially. I thought, man, like, I'm not going to quit. You know, I could have easily sulked and thought, man, I didn't get signed. I'm just going to quit music. For me, it was more of a thing where I was that close to getting signed by a big American artist. How can I, like, do you know, like, I can't put it in words, but it just really made me think, man, I can do this, you know? If I got that close, next time I'm going to get even further.
Get it.
So, could you tell us some artists that you look up to? Tory Lanez is one, of course.
Tory's one, of course. When I was young, like the videos on YouTube, I think it's on my mum's channel. Like I used to like Chris Brown as well. I used to try and be like him.
I've seen these things in Manchester with the girls. He's killing it, man.
I really liked that era of music. Maybe it was because music for me came about on what my older cousin used to listen to, or what my parents don't listen to R&B and rap. Like, come on, do you know what I mean? So, but that was just when I was young. Like actual inspirations, I really rocked with Tory Lanez because of his story as well. And it goes back to what you asked me earlier about do or die. That mentality is driven in him, and I explain why. So he has a neck tattoo, right? And it was one of his first tattoos. And he explained the reason he got that neck tattoo because when you get a neck tat, like a big one, you can't get a job, like a mainstream job. And for him, he was so centered down on music that he got that tattoo to cross anything else. So for him, it was music or die, do or die, you know? And I thought, wow, someone who really took a risk like that, really closed off every other path to blow in music, and look how it paid off, you know? And that's what it done for me.
Wow, that's a crazy story. So
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask you, the music scene. So obviously you already mentioned like R&B. That's your kind of music, and I was thinking about it. You see a lot more people striving that music because I was thinking in the UK rap scene right now, it's a lot of drill, and a lot of the drill influences a lot more violence and crime, and obviously there's been a lot of killings over time. What do you think of the UK music scene right now when he's talking about constant violence and everything?
So for me, music is an expression. Anytime I go in the booth, even I've tried to make drill music. I've tried to make other styles of music. I've tried to speak about money, girls, this, that. But I've noticed every time I go in the booth, the best type of music I can make is pain music. Speaking about heartbreak, speaking about my life, speaking about this and that. So it goes down to those artists that are making these drill songs. That's just how they've lived. Like, that's their expression. That's their way of sort of reaching out and sharing their story. And it's like, music is not just an expression of songs. It's like an expression of your life. And if we want to close off drill music and not let people express themselves, they're going to live what they rap, you know?
Okay.
That's why you see a lot of drill artists that go mainstream, they don't go back to the roads, you know? They take music more seriously. How? Because they were allowed to express themselves. They took it global. They came out the streets. If we deny artists like Heady One or M24, we just say to them, no, you can't make music. What else are they going to do?
Back to the roads.
Back to the roads. What would I do if they told me I can't make pain music? I can't express myself. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, so how did it come? You spoke in your song about how it came about, that your first studio session was with your cousin, and then you just picked up the mic and you started to express yourself. What was that feeling like? Because I could imagine that was a feeling of awe, where you found like a passion in yourself.
Yeah. So I used to go to his studio sessions a lot. And then just seeing how fun music was before anything. Just going in the booth, rhyming words, coming out, and you actually make like a piece of art, you know? And I thought, I want to try this. So I didn't tell him, actually. I went back home. I was like 16. and I started writing music. I started listening to beats. And then I went back with him next session, and then I got into booth. He heard me rap. And he was like, what? Like, when did this come about? Because with my cousin, it's like a little bro, big bro thing, you know? And then from there on, it just changed. I started taking it more serious. I started going on more studio sessions. And it was just crazy. It's like one thing led to another, but it all stemmed down to the fact that I got inspired by someone to do it.
Okay. I just want to bring it back quickly to the drill music.
Yeah.
Because what you said does make sense. But what about the listeners of the music? Like normally it's children. Let's call them children because they're under 16 most of the time. And like, cool. It gives the artists a way to express themselves. I'm all for that. And when they go mainstream, they don't normally go back.
Yeah.
But children, they normally don't think, oh, I want to be a drill artist. They just think, whoa, he's rapping what he lives. I want to live like that. And then they start acting out that stuff.
And build on what he says about the start acting about that stuff. I don't know if this is, I think it's crazy. I just see people walking around with ballies on like it's normal. And I don't know why that's become a normal thing to walk around with a ski mask. Like,
listen, if I see you with a ballet, I just think you're a criminal.
that's what I'm thinking. Like, the drill artists really
Need
actually understand the influence of the music that they're putting onto children.
To be honest, like, not to like go back on my point, because I do believe like they're expressing themselves. It's a way for them to get out. But I actually agree with your point. Only because I was at that age too. I used to listen to drill music all the time. And it did cloud my head. I did walk around thinking I was something I'm not. It's true, it happens. It's music. It's the same way as them listening to like a podcast interview and they get inspired. It's all about inspiration. Sometimes you can get inspired to do good. Sometimes you can get inspired to do bad. But I feel like that's mainly a personal thing. Because look at me, I just said I went through the same, but I'm not doing anything like that now, you know? I realized, like, it's just music. I can listen to a drill song now and go on with my day. But it's a tough, like, issue to tackle. And to be honest, I'm not educated enough to come up with a solution or tell you guys what I think can happen. But it would be worth maybe, like, sometimes they do like a seminar or something and sit down these 16-year-olds and tell them, look, like, listen to it, it's fine, but it's not as glorified as it seems, you know?
Yeah, that'd be good.
That's a great
great
idea.
idea.
Yeah. Any artists listening, do a seminar, speak about your life face to face instead of with the music.
You know, like that.
That's,
Get your bag.
That's crazy. All right, then. So just building on stuff. I've listened to your mixtape.
Yeah.
I love it. Two favorite
Appreciate
songs, Moonlight, and you also had a song which I actually found interesting. Boys Don't Cry.
Yeah.
Why don't boys cry?
I feel like, you know, the stigma of men, like, you know, they don't cry, they're tough, they're this. They just, you know, wear a mask that's a happy face, but behind the mask, they're crying. So it's that sort of concept I went behind the song. And it's like, I spoke some of the most pain-led lyrics in that song, but not with a pain-led voice. Like, I just spoke on it with a tough voice to sort of bring the concept into light that, you know, boys don't cry. And as it said in the lyrics, you never know. Because you never know. Sometimes behind this hood, I might be struggling, but they won't see that.
Do you cry?
I haven't cried in a long time, to be honest.
When was the last time?
Probably when I was 16.
Why?
Because of news I heard about my dad. So he had a clot in his heart and it led to a heart attack. He survived, thank God. But
Thank God.
it's like, I feel like, obviously, no offense to my family. I love my family, but I feel like they went around it the wrong way because they didn't tell me. Because my dad was away when it happened.
Do you feel as if there's a reason why they didn't tell you?
I think because I was at the age where GCSEs,
Okay.
it was literally mid GCSEs. I think that's why, because, you know, my mum's all about education. She didn't want me to, but it's like the way I found out.
How did you find out?
I found out when I heard my auntie on the phone speaking about it. I don't know who. And she probably didn't realize I was in the room in that moment. And I just thought to myself, what? Like, they didn't tell me. And the whole time I was mad about my dad, thinking like, you know, he's not home and this, that. But I didn't know he was actually in hospital, like
said that
struggling.
in your lyric as
yeah,
well.
I did.
Yeah, he's thinking about where's your dad.
Yeah, I was
the bar
thinking
before that he
exactly.
had a heart attack. Yeah.
So I was upset because then I felt so much guilt. I thought, you know what, I'm his only son and I did nothing, not even send a text. But I didn't know, you know.
Yeah.
But that was literally the last time I cried, because even since then, I've gone through, you know, breakups, other sort of issues that we'll talk about. But every time I sit down and try to bring that emotion out, it just doesn't come out.
So what does your dad mean to you? Like, what role does he play in your life?
From young, I've always been independent. Like, in my life experiences, I've always like went about it my own way and experienced things in life. But every positive thing that I've known, my dad's taught me. Like, for example, from young, he used to tell me, like, pain is temporary. Even though he meant physical pain, like when I drop and scrape my knee, he'll tell me pain is temporary, like you'll be fine in a few weeks. I use that concept for things you struggle with in yourself, you know, like the scars inside of you. Any pain I'd go through, any sort of heartbreak, I just remember my dad said it's temporary. You'll get over it in a few months.
Do you think it's important to have a father figure in your life?
Definitely.
What kind of man do you think you would be if your father wasn't there?
I think the times in my life when my father wasn't there, for example, when he was away because of his heart problems, that was when I was the most reckless. I was going out late, Lord knows what, come back home, bad attitude to my mum, no time for my little sister.
Okay.
And I feel like a father figure really keeps you in check, you know?
All right. So two people you spoke about, who you mentioned in your music, your sister and your mother.
Yeah.
What's that? How important are they to you and the love that you have for them?
First of all, my mum's like my rock. Like, even though she does stress me out a lot, like, that love is unconditional. Do you know what I mean? Like, we'll have an argument and not talk for days, but I'll still do anything for her. Like, because of, and it's the same with my dad, because they took a big risk for me. Like, in general, like, everything they done. Like, I went to school, primary school. People had like the newest Nike trainers and this, that. And I would still get the same Nike trainers and I'd think I'm on level with them. But it's when you get older and you realize, okay, my dad was working 2 jobs to get them trainers. You know, my mum had to not pay for certain stuff to get me them trainers. Do you know what I mean? And it's small things like that that lives with you. In terms of my little sister, because our gap is so huge, it's like a 12, 13-year gap, I see her as my daughter almost. Like, and I just come home if I'm having a bad day, seeing how smiley she is, it gives me a reason to keep going. And I know if I didn't have my sister in my life, then I wouldn't be as strong as I am today.
So what do your family think about your music?
Well, I feel like they're supportive.
Is that it?
Yeah. Not in a bad way, but it's like, you guys know how parents are. Like, they just want you to go in another route, do education, this, that, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, oh, you're doing music?
So did they push you to...
You're a rapper? Like,
So did they push you to like go uni and stuff? Or
Yeah.
And what do you say to them?
And I don't want to say too much, I'll get in trouble, but like, if it wasn't for my mum, I would not go uni, man. I wouldn't.
Okay.
I just wouldn't, bro. Because I feel like people that go to uni, it's like they're creating a whole second life for themselves. Do you know what I mean?
What do you mean?
It's like the pressure it puts on you. Right now, I'm living 2 lives. I've got my music and personal stuff, and I've got uni. You can't mix them both together. Do you know what I mean?
I feel the exact same because it's like I'm doing all this podcast stuff, entrepreneur stuff, and then at the back of my mind, I'm like, shit, I still gotta do my uni work. I still gotta go to uni. It's completely 2 different lives.
Like, education is something to be grateful of before anything. Like, I'm so happy I'm in a place that I can pursue academic stuff, but it's not what I want to pursue. I don't want to be, because I'm studying law now, but I don't want to be a lawyer. As weird as that sounds, I don't want to do that route. I don't want to go down this. I don't want to do exams. I want to just make music and be free, travel. But you can't do that without a backbone, you know? Like, you can't just think, okay, let me make music, forget uni. And that's why I still go uni, because I think, okay, what if music doesn't work out? I need a plan B, you know? But I'll be lying if I tell you guys, sometimes I don't think about just brushing one aside and going all into music. But that's something I guess we'll see.
Okay, then. So just based on what you said,
Yeah.
you spoke about a Tory you already knew. He was like, yo, fuck everything else. I'm going all in on this. And when you put yourself in that corner where it's just this one thing you're going to do, sometimes it works, sometimes it pays off. Do you feel like if you brushed university aside and give your absolute all, do or die for music, do you actually know how far that would take you?
100%. 100%. And I'll explain why. Only because the progress I've made so far, whilst being half in, if I go all in, I know I would make even more progress, you know? I was at a point, guys, I'll play you my old songs. Like, I was just making music as a small thing. Then it got to a cosign, then it got to more followers, then it got to more networks. And I thought, wow, I haven't even done anything. So if I put all my energy into music, I cut everything else off, just music, 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 all my money, all my time, making music videos, perfecting my sound, it's obviously going to pay off.
So what's stopping you?
It's not stopping me anymore, I tell you that. 2023, I turned that page, bro. I've been making music 3 years now. Well, making music, but only now I'm making a mixtape. Because I'm starting to realize it's now or never. If I keep delaying, I'm going to hit 25, 26 years old, still in this road. Like, where am I going?
Okay, that's great. And I really do hope you stick with your word, and 2023, I'm hearing music. Because like you just said, you've worked with someone who's done it, dedicated, pushed everything towards it. So obviously you've had that link. I hope you do and stick with your word. But I just want to say, in your music, you speak from a place of pain, as in you've gone through a lot of pain. You've also had a lot of aggression. I've also healed some loneliness about a previous girlfriend. So overall, I want to say it sounds like trauma.
Yeah.
How have you dealt with that trauma, and how has it affected you in your life?
To be honest, trauma's made my adulthood. Like, everything I am today is through what I've experienced. Often when people hear my music, people that I've grew up with, my cousins, my family, they hear it and think, what? Like, this guy's always smiling. Like, his parents are good. What is he talking about? He ain't gone through no pain. But they don't know. Like, they just don't know what I've gone through. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I'll break it down for you guys now as well. Mental health, depression, it's a feeling that's inside of you, you know? You can find millionaires, all the money in the world, all the cars in the world, all the girls in the world, smiling, happy, but at night, they're in a constant war within themselves. Like, it's something that's so hard to tackle, and it's so hard to, like, explain for people to understand. Like, they say, you're depressed, get help. But what help? What if the help doesn't help? What if the medication doesn't help? What if therapy doesn't help? I've had therapy myself. Last year was probably when I was the worst I've been mentally. I moved out from home. All my childhood friends still in London. My family's still in London. Just alone in a new city by myself. And it got to a point where I didn't know why I was struggling, you know? Maybe I came out of the relationship. Maybe it was that. Maybe it was cutting old ties. I don't know. But I just know I was not sleeping. I was not eating. It got so bad that one of my teachers actually referred me for, like, private therapy. They're like, you know what, you need counseling. I had 5 weeks of sessions there. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. It's like, you speak to someone and they're trying their hardest. Like, I respect their job because it's a hard job, you know? And I respect that they're trying to help you, but it's like they don't get it. They just don't understand, you know?
So what exactly was, you mentioned late at night, and late at night is when you're most vulnerable. It's where all your thoughts come together at the end of the day. So what were some of the things you was thinking that was on your mind? Because I would already imagine, you said you left for uni,
Yeah.
so you was lonely. You said you was going through a heartbreak, so straight away that's more pain.
Yeah,
And
exactly. It all topped.
and it's also what was going through your head exactly?
Before anything that was going through my head, the first thing that I would think was, how did it get here? I was so bubbly, bright, in the best place. I was going to uni to study law. I'm doing music. I had a girlfriend. My family is good. This, that. I got friends. And then I just thought to myself, how did it get here? I ain't got a girl no more. I don't have my friends no more. I'm living alone. I ain't spoke to my family. And I'm just not myself. I'd wake up and look inside the mirror and think, what the hell? Like, how did it get here? Like, the child version of me would be so sad to see this is how my life went on. 10 years on, 11 years on. So it's like that feeling of letting yourself down before anyone else, you know? Me personally, when I go through things, I tend to push everyone away. Family, friends. Only because I don't want to be like a negative asset to them. I don't want to let them down. I don't want my mood swings and my depression to hurt them, you know? So it's like I cut the world off and I was trying to tackle this issue by myself. But what was the issue? You know?
Have you ever found an issue today?
I feel like you sort of mentioned yourself, I think everything just topples onto each other. Moving out, feeling homesick, financial issues, coming out of a relationship. It's just small things topple onto each other and not having any help for it. They've told me before, like, they've tried to refer me to medication. I wouldn't ever take that. Because all it does is take you away from the problem. And then when the medication sits away, it's back to reality.
Back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Same time, I didn't rely on anything. I didn't like face drugs or alcohol to help me get my mind off, because it's the same concept. You get high or something, back to reality. So for me, it was like, how can I get out of this? Like, you know, every night I used to just think, like, what can I do? Like, how can I come out of this dark cloud that's on top of my head?
So what did you do?
Music. I have a notepad. I was going to bring it, but I forgot. And it's like, I started writing. Not even just songs. I didn't go to studio or anything. But I just play a beat and it's like, I would express myself. Da-da-da-da-da, pain, heartbreak, this, that. And it's like, afterwards, I would feel like everything I'm dealing with inside, I've got it out. And then I could go out. I could go to the shops.
Man was journaling and made it into music.
Literally.
Literally. That's crazy.
That's one way.
Go on, tell me about one night where you feel like you wrote the most pain and you just said, just boom, switched it into a proud
positive.
song.
Yeah. So I say this in one of my lyrics as well. It's like, in my darkest nights is when I saw me a blessing.
That's the one that got in there.
Yeah. So it's like, in my darkest night where I was really bad, bro. Like, I can't even explain. Like, it's so tough. It's like something just hit my head and I thought, I'm too good for this. Like, I've got too much on the line. I've got my sister on the line. I'm too good for this. Like, this is not me. This ain't what I'm going to do. I went to the studio that weekend. I thought, you know what? Let me try and express what I'm writing in these journals into a song. And I'll take music serious. Because at the end of the day, I'm a musician. Like, that is my life. So I thought, let me just put it into this song. Let me put this song out, express myself. Maybe people understand me more. Maybe I'll get the help, or maybe I'll go clear. And it was that song. It's called Heartbreak Poetry. It went crazy, bro. 20K streams, more followers. And it's like, that was my blessing. In my darkest night, when I decided, let me go to the studio to receive the feedback that song received, I thought to myself, I'm never going to be back in that dark space. I'm just going to do what I can do best at. And I feel like anyone that's struggling should do the same. Whether it's heartbreak, whether it's trauma, the worst of the worst, just look back and think what you're good at. Do you like the gym? Go to the gym. Gain the highest weight that you can do, or like accomplish something, bro. Do you know? Because that feeling of accomplishment, that's how you get out of bad scenarios.
So you said earlier that your best type of music, you've experimented, but your best type is pain. So don't you ever feel that you'd express your pain so much in music that you'd kind of run out of that hunger, that pain that you can express onto your lyrics? Do you feel like you would ever run out?
I mean, you look at artists like Youngboy, he's dropping albums every month talking about pain, or Rod Wave, like it's something that there's no end to it.
That guy has like 60 heartbreaks, bro.
Yeah, that's
ain't you done yet, bro?
but it links to what
I don't
I'm
listen to
saying
Rod
though.
Wave no more. That just for that specific reason. Though.
Just depressing it.
Yeah,
Because I feel like he can make other type of music, but he sticks to that one type. I mean, it works for some people. He's got his audience and he caters to it.
yeah,
But
Do you know what? Since Pray for Love, when he actually started to actually speak about love and relationships, I think he's just kind of fell off. And now this is contradictory, but I think he fell off because it's the same type of music. Like there's only so much of the same type of music you can do before you think, all right, bro, listen, like, yo, I get it now. You've had your love. Talk about what you're doing now. The come ups, like how you live in life. Like that's kind of what you want to hear because you want to hear progression. And when you're constantly speaking about the depressed state you was in, it just sounds like you're stuck.
yeah. So let me tell you how I get around that issue, right? So I've only got 2 songs out right now, Heartbreak Poetry and Proud of Me. So essentially, how I come across that, because it's true, you cannot make 30 songs about the same situation, the same heartbreak, 30 times. So what I do when I make music, I just allow it to reflect how I'm at in the moment. When I made Heartbreak Poetry, I was going through a heartbreak. When I made Proud of Me, I was hoping that the girl that I ended things with is proud of me. Do you understand? So it's like,
Is she?
I don't think so. I don't speak to her no more, so I wouldn't know. Her loss anyway. Like,
Tell her one more time, bro.
her loss, but it's true though. Like, and I know if I'm winning in life, if my music blows, I'll speak about that. I'll speak about winning in life. I wouldn't go back and still make pain. Sometimes you have to, but it's about reflection.
I feel like that's kind of where Dave is at. And that's probably why I like Dave.
Yeah.
Like when Dave first came onto the scene, you could see he was hungry, bro. Like the shit he was rapping about, I was like, raw. And you could hear it in his voice. You could see it in his face.
2 stories that Jekyll and Hyde.
Yo, it's just
Jekyll and
crazy.
Hyde?
Yeah, yeah.
Now he speaks about the lifestyle he's living
Yeah, now he
Like,
speaks
that's
about the lifestyle.
exactly what I mean. You
Sometimes
just-
it's mixed with pain, like he normally has like one
Exactly.
pain song in the album.
That's what you have to do. Even Tory was like that. He was making mixtapes, rapping about the streets, and then he started making R&B and sex songs. Like,
Smashing it.
Yeah.
that's how you have to come around that question. Is literally you just have to speak about how you're at.
Well, I feel like that's crazy you say that because do you see how NBA Youngboy releases like almost a new album speaking about the same shit, Graham? But you see how you mentioned Dave and how Tory Lanez, how they've adapted and evolved. In other words, that's authenticity. The real. They express themselves in, like you said, each day. And I feel like when you expressed yourself in your song, it got its props because it was real. And then you also then followed up and said you made a song Proud of Me, showing that you've evolved since that song.
Exactly.
And I feel like that is what separates artists from other artists. Do you get what I'm saying? Because it's like if you're still talking about the trap when you've been there for so long and you've already done music on it, I think, all right, bro, yo, we get it.
Yeah.
You done it.
That's how I feel about drill rappers though. Because yo, so some of them man be rapping for 2-3 years, you're mainstream, but you still rap about the same shit, bro. I'm just like, yeah, you incorporate money now and you can show your jewels and in the music videos. But
If anyone's killing it, kind of, they talk about it briefly, but they're so versatile at what they do because they'll start with the winners. Heady One. I love the way he speaks about the past, and each time he speaks about it, it's different, it's authentic, and they speak about the outcomes, the winnings, what he's doing. So I feel like that's what rappers should really be doing.
Yeah. And I agree. Especially like M24, he makes drill music, but recently he made
Club music as well, man.
That's what you have to do, man. You just got to cater to the audience.
I got a question for you though. I know a little bit about music deals, label deals, whatever you want to call it. Is that what you're aiming for?
Nah.
Why?
And if I do ever get signed, I'd rather get signed through an artist, like the route I was trying to take with Tory. Because I feel like everyone who's been in the music though, they've all lived to regret it. So it's like at a certain point, you have to take the advice of people who's actually gone down that route. And you look at like, for example, D Block, right? Young Ads, LB. They're doing fine for themselves and they've never been signed. You know, it's like owning your own masters. Like you want to own your own music because it's your art. What I would do is I'd be happy to sell a project to a label, but I'd never sign my life off just over the concept that you're working for them.
So if a label offered you 50 mil
50 mil.
50 mil, but you gotta make
Where's
six.
the pen, bro?
But listen, 50 mil, but you gotta make 20 albums, and if them 20 albums don't recoup that 50 mil, you're in debt for whatever you haven't recouped.
That's exactly why I wouldn't sign.
I wouldn't
And,
sign
and
that.
that's exactly how they work as well, pretty
Exactly.
Is that how they work?
It's
Yeah,
like
bro.
a loan almost. You know
much.
that.
Yeah.
It's like, cool, I'll give you the 10 mil right now. That's yours. But you got to pay it back through your music because music generates money at the end of the day. Every album you see, every song you stream, you're putting money into the label's pocket. But the artist has already been paid.
Yeah.
So what about the Russ Millions deal? What was that deal about? Because I heard he was in some shady deal he was trying to get out of.
Oh, bro, my man signed
too.
like for like 20 mixtapes for like 100K, bro.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Or something stupid.
But I'm sure that Body song probably got more than.
If that was under the sign-in, it would all go to the label.
Yeah,
None of it would
exactly.
go
So
to
you're
him.
telling me that deal effed him like that?
Yeah, that
That's-
label probably made $1 million or something. None of it went to him.
Most of the time, when a label's gonna offer you something, yeah, they know that you're more time gonna make more than what they're offering
Yeah.
you. So you make that money back, and obviously it goes to them. They've given you that loan, but they've also made another 4 times what they've loaned you out.
So basically, you're saying the label's restricted.
But should I tell you why people sign? Because you might think, what the hell, like it's so bad. Why are people signing deals?
Why do you
Let me
people say?
explain why. Because look, when you make music independently, it's all from your own pockets. Like,
True.
on average, I'll tell you right now, this mixtape, it cost me almost 1.2K in total. No music video, nothing. Just the audio files I sent you. 1.2K, which is a big investment. Like, I don't know everyone on the street would put 1.2K onto a mixtape. But it's like, you're just putting money down, and you're not making enough money, and you're on zero. And a label comes along. When you're on zero, saying, here, take the 100K. Just give me 10 albums. And you're like, hell yeah, give me the 100K. They take the 100K. Their songs make millions. They're still on the 100K. And they're in debt.
Is there no is there no like compensation? So let's say you're like, yo, bro, your song made millions. We'll give you $1 million, or is it just strictly contract?
It's strictly
Strictly
contracts.
contract.
The only thing I know is though,
No bonuses.
probably not. The only thing I know is when you see artists tour, that's when they make most of their money. Like
Shows, yeah.
When you tour and do shows, all that's yours. The label don't normally
Exactly.
mess with that.
You should be a manager, bro. Or something. He knows a lot.
I heard it. Actually, I did hear that in a Bugsy tune when he goes, "Yo, the real money is when you go touring.
It's
'Cause
true.
That's your money. That is. How much money you reckon you get for tours?
Bro, just deep it. Like it,
No,
it
I
depends
can
how big
calculate
you
now.
are.
Essentially,
I can't lie. One day I was
O2
pocket
Academy.
watching like crazy. I was like, yo, Dave
Yeah.
probably made 50K from a show I was at, bro. I was just like,
obviously,
raw.
maths is not my thing, right? So
Yeah.
I hope no one quotes me on this. But
Go on,
let's say O2 Academy in London, it holds like, say, 4,000 people, right?
Yeah,
Let's say
And
the
then each
ticket's
ticket's
50
50 quid.
yeah.
50 quid tickets.
times that by 50.
200K, let's say to hire the venue, take away 50,000.
Yeah.
So that's 150.
Even the travel, bro, to get every expense
Travel to
minus
pay
another
off.
25K.
To pay off.
Ain't no way 25K for travel.
They're no,
Yeah,
because like
it's just
private
all- yeah,
jets,
yeah,
you
yeah,
travel all around the globe,
Oh,
or
yeah,
like a
yeah.
tour, like you
And let's
per
say to-
venue,
And let's say to
venue.
pay your team, take off another 25.
Yeah,
That's just overcompensating anyway. But
that's
cool.
like per venue. Let's say 5.
Okay, now what about when the show takes their cut, the promoters and everyone?
No, that's
People.
Yeah, that's
we
what we
minus
just
that
did.
already. Minus
So,
50.
so you're left with 100
Per-
bags.
per, like,
That's just one show
per
from the
show.
O2. And obviously, if you're a big artist, normally you do 2 shows in the O2,
Yeah.
depending on how demanding it is to actually see your show. Then
The
it goes
main
to
O2,
Birmingham,
they
Manchester.
made, bro, like anyone who performed, like WizKid,
Yeah.
they've made a lot of money, bro.
Answer, that's one show. I ain't gonna make music for the rest of the year, fam.
Yeah,
bro.
pretty much, bro.
But it's about, can you sell out an arena?
Exactly.
You should never go and do a show unless you know you would sell out. Not sell a lot of tickets, sell out.
All right, then Chris Breezy. He's pretty much sold out every show recently. How much would you think Chris Breezy made?
How many shows did he have?
I know he had one in Manchester.
Yeah.
He had one in London. I think he's got one in Birmingham.
I feel like he's got 2 in London. I feel like he has
Yeah,
2
he
in
had-
Birmingham as well.
I feel like he had 2 in Manny as well.
Should we just say 5?
Let's just say 5 shows.
Easily made $500,000. Easy.
I feel like he made more.
And
I
bear
can't
in
lie.
mind, these artists have after parties, so they get paid more to go to a club after their show.
I'm sure Chris Brown tickets were more than 50 as well.
Like, he's
So,
made
yeah.
at least more than $500,000. Like,
All All right, then, so how is it? I want to know. I want to try to understand this. How is it artists make their money through streaming?
So streaming is so bad, man. Like, I made of 20K streams, maybe like 40 quid, 50 quid.
Oh, sir, down.
It's worth 40 quid.
So like, if
20K?
I was expecting you to say like 40
I
pence.
was going to see £5.
no, I made it was decent because a lot of my streams I make sure people buy it through iTunes, like Apple
Okay.
Music, iTunes, that side of the streaming.
That makes sense.
way better. Spotify, I don't know, man. Like, we need to cancel Spotify.
Yeah, I was thinking, okay, how much did you make through Spotify?
Because it's in total, it's not really broken down, but yeah, probably maybe from the 50 quid, like 15 quid off Spotify or something. Like, it's so bad, bro. That's why I make sure people buy my songs, because when they buy it outright, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's like each sell is equivalent to a set amount of streams. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you stream my song twice on Spotify, it's done. But if you buy my song on iTunes, you've already streamed it 10 times.
Okay.
That's why iTunes and Apple Music pays more. So I tell people, buy my songs.
But from a consumer's point of perspective, do you ever think they would say, why would I buy your song when I could stream it?
Yeah, definitely.
That is
First
true.
of all, streaming's free. Well, it's not free because
It's
you
not free,
pay
I
for
pay
the
for it, yeah.
subscriptions, but you get more for your money's worth. Like you pay £5 a month for a student deal for Spotify per month. One mixtape might cost 11 quid. So I don't blame people if they can't buy it, because I wouldn't do that, you know?
Yeah.
To be fair, I feel like it just depends how much you really mess with the artist.
Yeah,
like if you're a super fan
and
and
you
you're
want
like,
to, you can. Like the people who buy my songs is often like my close friends and my family.
supporting
It's
your
never
team,
like
yeah.
anyone that's a fan of my music. They always just stream it. But you know, locations is important as well. Like if you know, like artists that bot streams,
yeah.
they're always in like East Asian countries, like the streamers and stuff. So it pays less. Whereas if you have like an American fan base, it pays more. Like there's a lot of small things in the algorithm.
Okay. So I just want to, that was a very interesting conversation talking about money and music. That was very, so I want to talk about something. I know it's a depressing thing you may not want to, you may not feel uncomfortable to talk about, but let's say you mentioned a few factors which led to your depression and the reason why you started to get therapy. You said your girlfriend, ex-girlfriend. What was going through your stage at that time?
So that was a person I knew for a long time. So before anything, that was my friend. Like before the romantic side, it's like I lost a friend, someone who knew me, someone I could speak to during the day. And it's like the way it came about as well, it made me realize that I never want to be in that situation again. And that's why it's been like 2 years now and I've never been in any entanglement. Like, because I've been so self-centered on how that came about. And it's like, in the situation, I was so all in. Like, my guard was down. I was comfy where I was. I thought that would be my person for however many, years. And then for it to end like that, like you go from the nice text messages, the FaceTimes every day to nothing. It's like a part of your life is taken away, socially, emotionally, And it's like, me as a person, with girls especially, I feel like I always feel like I can save people, Like I'll get into a stage where I'm talking to the person. Everyone has flaws, but through their flaws, I'll think I can save this person. I'll spend money on them. Like I'd literally give them my heart. And it's like, I save them for the next person,
Do you reckon you put yourself in like a fight or flight mode where like I have to
I feel like I give them a vibe, like I improve them so much as a person, and then they go and they're better for the next guy they speak to. And that's why for me it's like, screw that. Like I ain't gonna put myself in that situation again. And that's why I'm so self-centered, bro. Like my phone hasn't gone off once since we've been here, with no messages and stuff. And you'd think as a rapper, you'd be self-centered around girls.
Do you reckon that's a lot of things rappers struggle with? As in the attention of girls and the constant distraction of girls?
It's a really personal thing. It just depends on how you are.
Yeah.
I'm a romantic guy. Like, I'm not a player type and stuff. It just depends. Like, if you're someone who likes the attention, you crave it, you've been a player, like you want to speak to a lot of girls, then that's the route you can take. The only difference is it's going to take you away from your music, And It's with everything, bro. Football. Every footballer that's in a scandal and stuff, it's come from them not focusing on their football, going into girls and, you know. Don't get me wrong, like, it's life. Like, you need girls in your life, same way girls need boys, or, you know, however it may be. But I just don't think at our age, especially, it should be your focus. It should just come. For me, if a girl comes along and we get along, why would I not? Even though I'm hurt and I have trust issues, I'd be happy to get into a relationship or something. But it just hasn't come along.
But don't you
It's
feel
like in life, don't search for things, let it come to you.
But don't you feel like if you've got trust issues,
You fuck with that.
I fuck with it as well. But don't you feel like if you got trust issues, you got trauma,
Yeah.
leftover pain, and a girl does come to you and you think, oh, maybe she's nice, but all that trauma and pain kind of will distract you from the actual person that she is. Like, she's actually a nice person, but
It's
now
happened
you've
to me. I'm not
sabotaged it to the point where that new relationship is just gone already.
I won't deny it to you, like it's happened to me. Like, girls come along, I've slowly started opening up and speaking to them, and just like, I overthink of what happened from the last relationship. I'd think, oh man, she's gonna be like that. So I'd get anti, I'd start speaking to her less, and she's gone. Like, it happens all the time, but for me, it's like, you have to match energy. You know, like if a girl comes and they're really down for you, through my flaws, through my trust issues, through everything, she still wants me, why would I like not open up? Why would I not forget my past and live in the future? You know?
Do you reckon you've had them issues with friends where you feel like, obviously, if my girl, someone who I love dear, can do me wrong, and my friends could do me wrong?
Friends for me is like a big part of my life as well, because when I was younger, I was in a big friendship group. I let these guys come to my house, sleep over, this, that, and I just thought like, we're so different. And seeing how they treated me when I didn't want to be friends with them anymore, I just thought to myself, yo, I don't even want friends anymore. Like, I just started being a loner from like 17 years old, 18 years old. I thought, no one's really down for me, so why would I just do my own thing? Like, the friends that I had, good people, but two different people. They were so self-centered around just doing them, just hanging around, parties, this, that. I'm like, guys, I'm making music. Like, you lot share my song and stuff, and they just brush it aside. And it's like, when I then told them, I'm trying to do my own thing. You lot do your own thing, party all you want. I want to go to the studio. The way they treated it and made me seem like the villain, like, oh, you're making music now, you want to do your own thing and forget us. And they just feel a type of way and spread hate in my comments and whatever it may be. Like, you know, the fake accounts on your profiles is always an old friend. Like, it's always someone that's, do you know what I mean?
True, I hear it.
So for me, friends, it's like, I rather just have friends that value me and also like they can provide something. For example, like I got a close friend now. He's a videographer. Like, he shoots videos. And we're close friends, but that friendship came about from him making videos. I can help him by hiring him to shoot my music videos, and he helps me by doing music videos. That's how friendships should be. You guys have this podcast together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Imagine if you didn't have this podcast together and you lot was just lousing, not doing anything with your life. What's the point of having that friendship? Friends are meant to boost you, you know? I want every single person in my circle to be able to help me, and I'll be able to help them, however it may be. Make music. I tell my friends nowadays, like, pick up a laptop, learn how to edit. Let me help you so you can help me. And it's just, if you feel like that, you can really go far in life, you know?
Fact.
You articulate your words very well.
Yeah, I was about to say.
And just based off what you were saying, I did see something about there's an Instagram's reel, and they were speaking about friendship, and the guy said he doesn't want friends with just normal people, just general people. He wants friends who are winning, so he can win too. And it's like, you have to think about your friendship groups. Is it worth investing your energy and time into somebody who isn't trying to help you, isn't trying to live the life you're trying to live? Because at the end of the day, you'll find yourself, even if you give them one day, you'll find yourself slacking. Because that one day you're maybe doing what they're doing, just chilling, just vibing.
Yeah.
And really and true, that's another day gone. Where if it's a friend who was on job, doing something always, what are you doing? The exact same thing.
True.
It's
on
like,
job,
if
moving.
you want to be a product of your environment, or you want to be an example from your environment. Like it's rather you be, I come up from this area, I'm just lousing around with my group of friends. Or you make it out of your environment and you're like, yo, I'm an example. Aspire what you want to do, make it out. It leads back to my mentality from just going global. Like it's bigger than music, bro. I just want to really be an example to everyone. You know, they can look back and listen to this podcast and think, yo, just a normal kid from South London doing shows in America. Like that's my dream. That's where I want to be. But just to go back to the friends point, I feel like it's definitely one thing you got to accept before you find friends that help you win is that time isn't everything. For example, like people often think, that's my friend, I've known him for 9 years. I trust him. And it'll be that friend that secretly hates you, you know? I have friends now that I've met. Like my friends in Amsterdam, for example, I met them a few months ago, but we're like this. And you'd think, how? You've only known them for 3 months. It doesn't matter. When there's good vibes, when there's love and respect for each other, that's a friendship. It doesn't matter how many years you've known them or you went to the same school or not, you know?
I hear you. You know what I always thought to myself? I always thought, I'm never going to find the people that actually do what I want to do. Like, when I was on YouTube, I was like, I'm never going to find people that want to, like, that are on my level that want to come up and do YouTube or editing and stuff like that. But then I realized eventually, you just eventually find those people. Like, you will connect with each other. They will see your stuff. You will see theirs. You'll reach out to them. They reach out to you. Next thing you know, you're in an environment that is just perfect for you. You've made friends with people that do the same stuff that you do. You help each other, and now you're elevating twice as fast. So, bro, just if you literally can create your environment, you literally don't have to be a product of it.
That's what I used to think. Like, I used to feel lonely and think, man, I don't even have a best friend I can FaceTime. Like, I ain't got a boy I can talk to about my problems.
I used to think that as well.
Yeah, and I used to feel so lonely. Like, what the hell? Like, obviously I have friends, but can I really speak to this guy about my girl problems?
Do
Do you know what I mean? But then I got older and realized, you know what? You're born alone and you die alone. Like, you have to learn to be your own friend before anything. Do you know what I mean?
I used to tell some of my friends that, like, yo, really and truly, you're cool. We could all be friends right now, but we'll never actually know each other's problems and how we deal with them. Like, so before I got you, make sure you got yourself. Do you get what I'm saying?
It's true.
Before you can actually start to actually fully express your emotions or feelings to your friends, make sure you're in check first. You understand. And like, just going on what you were saying about creating your own environment, sometimes you do have to go down that path and take things into your own hand, and eventually you will end up where you want to be. Because like it said, like the editing thing, like how you started doing it by yourself and then you found the people on this journey and now you're here. You get what I'm saying? So you work with editors like Kieran, myself, Rosari Academy. Like, it's just, think about it. And all your friends who didn't want to leave that environment, let me guess, they're still there.
Yeah, of course. And it's the same thing. Like, I used to think, I'm never gonna meet no one in Birmingham that can edit or something like that. I was thinking, I didn't even know Cam Behind the Cam was from Birmingham. I always thought, it's just gonna be these online friends. Like, is the relationship even gonna be there? But then I was just like, bro, you can just tell from a person vibe if they're genuine, and it's just, it's amazing, bro. Can't lie.
That even links to relationships as well. Like, you might find a girl that's behind the same concept as you just said. She comes along. Do you know what I mean?
I hear it.
Not to like make it major, but you are born alone, and when you die, people do visit you, but you're in that grave alone. So you have to learn how to deal with your own problems by yourself. Like, you have to learn to just be alone for a bit.
Yeah. All right then. So like, okay, just before we move on to one of our final topics.
Yeah.
As a rapper, I could imagine being a rapper is a very lonely journey because you express your feelings onto a song, but nobody understands you better than yourself. So how is it you have friends that rapper friends who try to understand you? Like, is that a thing?
I don't really have rapper friends, but I have friends in the industry. For example, my sound engineer I go to, his name's Yeki, right? He, like, when he came along me and I came along him, it was just a business relationship. I'd just pay him for studio time and he would mix my songs. But from there on, it's like you build that friendship. And now Yeki, I love him like a brother. You know, we call each other family. That's how it works. the friends I have now are friends that I've known for time. Even though time, I said, is not a big thing, every time I release a song, they're behind it. They're criticizing me, which is a good thing. They're sharing it. And it's like, you need them sort of friends, not just people you know and you can spud and like go out with. Like, you know, you just need someone that feels you. Even if they don't relate to my music, they relate to me as a person or they like my personality. That's how you come out of loneliness, you know?
I like that. Carter, coming up to the last question, and it's just a personal question I like to ask our guest.
Yeah.
It is, what's 7 things that you can't live without?
Okay. My little sister, could never live without her. That's my sunshine. My phone,
Are you addicted to your phone?
I wouldn't say I'm addicted, but like without my phone, everything's on there. My connections, my music, my files. Like if I
okay.
didn't have my phone, that's my life gone. Like,
I mean, that's pretty much the same for everyone. to be
Yeah.
honest.
third of all, my tracksuits.
Tracksuits. What's your favorite tracksuit? Night Tech.
No, it's actually a brand called Thane.
Thane.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to show me. I've never
You have to
heard
shout
of
them out, bro.
It's
You have to shout them.
oversized.
Oversized.
Yeah.
I've been into my oversized stuff lately.
I'll show you about them. My car.
Your car?
Yeah, driving's a blessing, man.
What car do you drive?
I drive a A-class.
Oh,
Jeez.
aye.
Why didn't you drive here today?
It's long, man.
Yeah, it's a long journey and the train's easy. You can knock out
I'm
as
not
well.
a good driver ever. Don't get it twisted. I'm not a good driver.
Alright, that's 4.
Ooh, I would say my producer, my music
Okay.
producer. Like he helped me. Like, if I didn't meet him, I'd not be here today. How many I got left?
2 more.
You know what? I'm gonna actually say my life experiences. I'm
Okay.
gonna say everything I went through because it's like my heartbreak. It didn't break my heart. It shaped my heart.
Yeah, I seen someone say that. Yeah.
I fuck with that quote. That's my next tap.
That's
for
a sick
sure.
one still.
And how many? Last one?
Last one.
Memories.
Memories.
Yeah,
Memories never die.
they never do, man. It's my mixtape name.
That's what I'm saying.
The reason I say that is because people come and go, but memories don't. They stay.
Okay, then my final question to you, final question of the podcast. What's a memory you're so fond of?
What does fun mean?
Can't even laugh too much. I'll piss myself.
You know what? What's
Man,
basically,
yo,
fun
I make
means like
music, but I just about passed my GCSEs, bro. Like,
basically fun meaning a memory that's so significant to you that you would always remember.
Ask the question again.
Nah, we gotta keep this laughing.
no,
No, it's anyone.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no,
authentic. Keep that.
I said, what does fun mean?
I paused. I was trying to think, like, what the fuck does that mean? All right, cool. Not to make it dark, but definitely that heartbreak is a memory.
Biggest heart shape.
Yeah, because it just made me more mature and it just made me stronger. Now, any challenge I face, whether it's emotional, financial, any hurdle I come across in life, I just think, yo, I went through that. I'll be good.
All right. Thank you very much, PCarter. This,
Appreciate
for me,
you guys, man.
I would say it's one of my favorites up there with Aaron's. Just
Yeah,
because
for real.
anytime someone speaks about that personal experience that actually connects to the audience,
Yeah.
I really fuck with it. And you showed us more than just about music, more who you are as an artist.
Definitely.
And I feel like you look back on this 5 years time when you're doing music and doing a lot more podcasts as in, yo, this is the first time I showed people the world who I actually am.
This
For
was
real.
a new environment for me. Do you know what I mean? I didn't know how it'd go, but I appreciate you guys for real for putting me on. Like, I
alright,
couldn't think of a better place to come on, man. And I hope it goes well for you lot. I hope the next artist you have on is even bigger than me.
Thank you.
Thanks, bro. Thanks.
Yeah, man.
Thank you guys for watching to the end.
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
We appreciate the support. And make sure you check out my mixtape dropping soon. Memories Never Die, PCarter.
Yes, sir.